It's RT International. The latest Edward Snowden leaks reveal how the US has been using a British base to help carry out deadly drone strikes in possible violation of international law. The documents detail how location tracking methods were developed at the UK's Menwith Hill Royal Air Force Station and then used to pinpoint targets in Yemen, where the US has long waged a covert drone war. RT's Harry Fear looks into it.
So these revelations make clear that the previously secret facility is a shared spy base used by the NSA and GCHQ, and the intelligence gathered there apparently used in these controversial assassination drone campaigns that the US has operated in Iraq and Afghanistan, but also in nations where it's not at war, like in Yemen. Of course, the record there of civilian loss has been so high. But this all raises questions then about how much the UK knew about what exactly was going on there, because previously the UK's official line has always been that the US operations there are carried out, quote, with the full knowledge and consent of British officials. But reacting red-faced that today are human rights lawyers and NGOs.
It is now imperative that the Prime Minister comes clean about UK involvement in targeted killing to ensure that British personnel and resources are not implicated in illegal and immoral activities.
If the UK government knows that it is transferring data that may be used for drone strikes against non-combatants, that transfer is probably unlawful. An individual involved in passing that information is likely to be an accessory to murder.
In fact, it's been argued that under international law, the people targeted by the drones in Yemen don't actually count as combatants. That's because officially, America isn't at war with the country. Same applies to covert US operations elsewhere, for example in Pakistan, where, like in Yemen, the impact on civilians has been significant.
I didn't understand until the next day that an American drone killed my son. Why? Tell me.
The Americans should be able to tell an ordinary person from a Taliban leader. They should know who they're killing. What did we do to deserve this?
I have no idea why my grandmother was killed.
The activities at Menwith Hill, located near Harrogate, North Yorkshire, have up to now been a closely guarded secret. GCHQ, a British security and intelligence agency, says that all work there is carried out in accordance with strict legal frameworks. And a statement from the US claims that the mission at Menwith Hill protects America and other countries all around the world. Well, Menwith Hill Station was also in the spotlight back in 2012 when locals living near the base staged a protest outside. Now, we covered the demonstration. Protesters claimed the base was completely unaccountable and demanded more transparency regarding its operations. And claims about UK involvement in US drone strikes were already surfacing back then.
The UK is providing a facility here that's involved in drone attacks that we know from independent assessments are killing and injuring thousands of civilians now. These are acts of war. And normally, when we have acts of war, you know, Parliament should normally inform people that we're involved in those, and we're not being informed. We're kept entirely in the dark about them.
We always knew that the UK was working together with the US on these drone operations, but now we have much more information that details how Menwith Hill has been used to collect vast amount of data that is used not just for surveillance, but actually given over for military operations. So this puts the UK directly in complicit behavior with drone warfare that many of us think is illegal and violates international law. So I think the people who have been protesting the way the UK has been working hand in glove with the US in this drone program have a lot more direct questions now to ask of their elected officials.
Back then, an MP questioned in Parliament the role the base plays in drone strikes in the Middle East and North Africa. But he was told the government doesn't comment on operations at Menwith Hill. Matteo Bergamini, a founder and director of the medium platform Shout Out UK, doesn't believe there'll be any investigation into the revelations.
Ideally, I would like the authorities to come clean to essentially say that, you know, what has happened, and essentially put it to the public and actually start to act like a democracy, actually say what has been going on and essentially try and rectify these issues. And if we did break international law, the people that have been involved in this should essentially be prosecuted under British law. The reality, however, I think will be very different. I think the reaction from the authorities will be to try and hide this or try and scapegoat it onto somebody else, like they have done with our whistleblowers in the past, and try and bury it, essentially.